After a 5-month hiatus, we're back in blue on the NESRN, and there's no better place to return than Hotlanta. Hi, hello, and good evening, race fans. Welcome to Hampton, Georgia, as we bring you into tonight's coverage of the season opener for Season 4 of the NR2003 Fuel Sportsman Series, the Buc-ee's 125. Pleasant good evening here on the North American Sim Racing Network as we welcome you to the Atlanta Motor Speedway here for tonight's coverage of Fuel Sportsman season opener here tonight on the NESRN. My name is Trey Wright, joined alongside by the Colonel Caleb Rose. And Caleb, after a near half-year hiatus being off of the air here for Fuel Sportsman, we are back and in a big way here at the mile-and-a-half quad oval, the old 2005 version of the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It is going to be nothing short of an absolute blast tonight.
Definitely. It's really nice to be back here in the saddle once again here of the Sportsman Series, and this series is nothing short of absolute cinema week in and week out. And I'm definitely excited to see how this season ends up shaking out. It's been a long time in the making, but cannot wait to see how it plays out. And like you mentioned, starting here tonight at the Atlanta Motor Speedway and the 05 configuration, definitely going to be an interesting race here tonight on, of course, the old Atlanta surface. It's going to probably be a bit slippy, a bit loose, which is definitely going to be intriguing to see. And also, of course, the surface is going to wear tires out pretty quickly, so that will also definitely be something to watch out for, but should definitely make for some very fun and challenging racing here tonight from Atlanta.
It definitely is, and we see that here a lot. And after a fantastic race at the Fuel Motorsport Park, our first of two dirt races for the Fuel Grand National Series, we got Cayuga coming at you in 2 weeks' time, but here at the old version of the Atlanta Motor Speedway in these Cup 98 late 90s mod Gen 4 cars. Glad to see these automobiles back under the lights. We got 14 cars in the server right now. And Apollo Hyde, no surprise to see her top of the charts, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, RJ Bishop in that Ally number 48 machine, top of the charts for Warren Wentz Racing. Got that program's first fuel victory a week and a half ago on the back straightaway of Daytona. And Connor Edwards going to go for a spin right in front of him. Edwards, another development driver in that Ford horse racing camp. And the boss man of Warren Wentz Racing, Blake Warren, down to the inside. No Corbin Wentz here on the grid tonight, but plenty of new paint schemes to go over. Plenty of old drivers in new places, and it's going to be an absolute, it's going to be fun as Jason Stereo is going to come out of the pit lane. He's going to be back in the saddle here in the Sportsman level, and with these fixed setup races on these mile-and-a-halfs, it is truly anybody's race. And we saw it at Las Vegas. We've seen it at Augusta a couple of different times. Just these mile-and-a-half tracks just produce nothing but fantastic racing, close quarters, close competitive racing. And it's going to be a banger here tonight, Caleb. It always is. We look through some of the other drivers here throughout. There's Apollo Hyde in that Subaru 100 machine. Season 3 champion, the last two champions of the Sportsman division, if I'm not mistaken. A brand new starry blue Subaru factory team with RJ Bishop in the Ally colors, a la Alex Bowman. And these three Millennium Autosport Mazdas, or Millennium Autosport Pontiacs, I should say, are definitely going to be the most confusing out of everyone in the grid. This is Ike Durbin in the pink and yellow Kodak number 86 Pontiac. We got the blue one, which is going to be Vincenzo Focusato, that baby blue and yellow Kodak Pontiac. And, of course, the red is going to be for Rich Roy in that red Kodak color number 29. So some very similar looking paint schemes for all those guys in that Millennium Autosport camp, as Grant Warren's going to come back out on track in that Quaker State automobile in that 33 machine. As we've got a minute to go here in practice, but it's going to be a long race. It's 125 miles here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old version, the 24 degrees of banking in the corner. Got the quad oval with 24 degrees in the banking, like we said. We're going to see quite a bit of fall off in this race, Caleb. About 1.5 to 2 seconds of tire fall off and about 30 to 32 laps on a full tank of gas, which, given that tire wear we're likely going to see here tonight, that could be a little bit more than we anticipated. And again, your run-of-the-mill quad oval here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but Vincenzo Focusato now jumping to the top of the board, running a 29.572. Or 28.968, I should say, to put that 37 car at the top end of the charts. There's the 09 of Rafaela Sorensen. Glad to see her back in the saddle, and that 09 Brahma Dodge for Rafaela Emmy Motorsports. And there's Emmy Schizzato in that Atlanta Thrashers, that beautiful looking Atlanta Thrashers Ford Taurus for REM as well. Currently running 10th out of 13 cars that have put down a lap so far. Of course, Connor Edwards in that Menards Maytag 02, throwing it back to Paul Menard in his old GT car, if I'm not mistaken. But here on the North American Sim Racing Network, that's a Nathan Buchanan number 99 scheme that he's throwing it back to over on the Flowmaster Grand Touring Championship side of things. We'll see what Connor's able to do in that automobile tonight. And, of course, Kenny Campos, the old Darrell Waltrip car in that 17 machine. It's looking pretty steady out there, if I don't say so myself. And Rich Roy goes into the pit wall. I think that's just about time for us to go here to qualifying, Caleb. Technical difficulties over on our side of things.
User was moved to your channel.
We'll see. You got us here, Caleb?
Yes, sir. We're back.
Alrighty, so some technical difficulties as we're going through the field and talking about a lot of these paint schemes. So first and foremost, these Millennium Autosport Pontiacs, they're going to be a little bit difficult to differentiate from one another right on the fly, but overall, three beautiful looking race cars and a full beautiful looking grid here tonight. We are in for a great race under the lights in terms of just not only just the quality of racing we're going to see, but how beautiful all these paint schemes are.
Yeah, definitely a lot of great looking paint schemes in the field here tonight. You're talking about those Millennium Motorsport cars, definitely some big eye catchers there. Really like the Kodak colors and slight mix-ups there between the cars. Definitely looking very, very nice, and still just got a lot of other great paint schemes here in the field as well. But still, paint schemes aside, I think we're definitely in for a fun race, as is usually the case here at Atlanta and here in the Sportsman Series. Definitely gets very, very interesting once you kind of put everybody on a bit of a level playing field with the, I guess you would say, equalized, distributed setup. So definitely in for quite the interesting race here tonight.
We definitely are, and of course, like we saw on Wednesday night, as is tradition here in the Sportsman Series, it is fixed setup, so this is more like we were talking about right at the top of the show, how with the fixed setup and how close all these guys are going to be together, it's going to create for some very competitive racing. Everybody's on the same playing field. The only thing separating everybody from one another is going to be how well you are. And, of course, some of the drivers we're going to have to watch out for. Of course, you got to watch out for Apollo Hyde and Vincenzo Focusato. Both of those drivers have absolutely been thrilling here on the Sportsman side of things. But also Blake Warren, he nearly won at Las Vegas back in season number 3 at a track a little bit similar to this, a little bit flatter version of this track over at out in Las Vegas, but he's been really good. Kenny Campos right now jumping up to second, and Nicky Conti in the 85 as well in that Sprite Pontiac. Also coming up here, of course, this is where we're going to see a lot of drivers be very, very, very aggressive, and we're going to see a lot of drivers that are typically mid-pack over on the Grand National side of things flourish a lot here tonight. Again, it's the Sportsman Series, akin to the Xfinity Series, or I guess now the Advanced, or the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, I should say. But we see quite a few development drivers cut their teeth. This is where we saw Corbin Wentz cut his teeth back in the day. Same thing with Grant Warren. And it is going to be fun, as it always is. We got about 30 seconds to go here in qualifying, but it looks like Apollo Hyde by only 5/100ths of a second over Vincenzo Focusato. Looks like she's going to be taking the pole position here tonight of the 14 cars, or the 13 cars in the server, if I'm not mistaken. Time continuing to wind down here in queue, but Caleb, it's the first night of many here of the Fuel Sportsman side of things, and what are you looking forward to for all these guys here? What's certainly going to be one heck of a race?
Definitely. I think we're, like I said, in for quite the fun race tonight. Definitely looking forward to seeing how it plays out and just all the factors in tonight's race. Like we're talking about just the surface of Atlanta, how slick it can be, and how much it can pay dividends on these tires, as well as just like you were talking about the fixed setups, kind of leveling out the playing field and everything. Definitely a lot of factors here coming into tonight's race. It's going to be interesting to see how all those play out. Who does end up getting the leg up on everybody else here to start out the 2026 Sportsman Series?
Well, we can tell there's a little bit of excitement in the background, as well as your roommates are pretty excited for things to get going here. Is Nicky Conti.
Absolutely.
First one out here in happy hour, but taking a look at the starting lineup for tonight, Apollo Hyde, Vincenzo Focusato, no surprise to see those two drivers on the front row. They're the only ones to run sub 28.8 second laps. Hyde running a 28.73 and Focusato running a 28.79. Nicky Conti and Emi Schizzato are going to be in that second row, and Ike Durbin will round out the top five with Rafael Sorensen to his outside. Kenny Campos and Grant Warren will be in row 4. Rich Roy and Blake Warren will populate row 5. Connor Edwards and Jason Stereo will be in row number 6. Those were the final two cars to put down a lap time. RJ Bishop and Don LaPrade, the only two cars not to qualify, not put down a lap, will make up the 14-car field in row number 7 here this evening, as everybody will come back out here for happy hour. We got to get a look at that number 29 machine for Rich Roy. He's coming down the pit lane, just trying to make some last final adjustments here in happy hour. Doing whatever you can to try to get things going. Grant Warren has gotten into the outside wall a couple of different times, and a little bit tricky there coming onto the pit lane. And he's going to loop that 33 car around. So everybody coming back out on track. There's Ike Durbin in that number 86 machine. We're going to go on board here with Ike. Take you for a couple of laps around the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old 2005 version. See what line Ike is going to run here, and happy hour is trying to settle things out, shake things out. Durbin, another one of those drivers that we're going to have to watch out for all this evening. He's putting the pedal to the metal all the way down the back straightaway. I really miss those grandstands on the backstretch here, Caleb. Just part of the charm here of old Atlanta. Unfortunately, a tornado a year after this track was built, or this the version of Atlanta was built, taking out the legendary, historic back straightaway grandstands that stood when Alan Kawicki won the 1992 championship over Bill Elliott. Same thing with the turn 3 grandstands as well. But overall, we're traveling back in time for what's going to be a fun race here, despite the small-ish field size. Again, you put 14 of the best drivers in the Sportsman Series out on track. You know, it's always going to be fun. It's always going to be a blast. And we cannot wait for what is going to be ultimately a great race here tonight. One of the great 6 races we've got on tap here this season. We'll get to that in a moment, but Caleb, you got your eye on here tonight of the 14 cars that are going to be on the grid?
Well, it would probably be a crime not to think about Apollo Hyde when thinking about contenders for these race victories. Apollo, such a great driver week in and week out, and definitely going to be watching out for that 100 car, but still got a lot of other drivers to keep your eye on as well. Vincenzo Focusato there in that 37. He's definitely a guy to watch out for. Don LaPrade as well in the 74. And we've definitely seen parity in a lot of these races as well. So there's definitely some other guys I wouldn't count out either. RJ Bishop has kind of been on a heater lately in that number 48. Of course, got the first win for that Grant Warren team just like you mentioned a little bit ago at the Daytona Backstretch Short Track, and showing some pace here at Atlanta as well. I'd definitely watch out for him, but a lot of possible contenders here in this race. And like I said, it's going to be interesting to see who we do see up fighting for this race win, and eventually who does go to victory lane here for the first time here in the Sportsman Series season.
Yeah, you can never count out guys like Emi Schizzato at this level, as well as Don LaPrade. who is currently not out on track in that 74. Kenny Campos currently top of the charts in happy hour. But tonight is one of 12 races on the slate and one of 6 races that we'll have here on the North American Sim Racing Network's coverage of the Fuel Sportsman Series. As we take a look at the Season 4 schedule, we've got tonight's race and next week's race at the Alley Raceway. That is going to be very fun. It's the Martinsville road course, essentially, at the Alley Raceway. That's going to be next week at 9:50 Eastern Time, right here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Then we take a 3-week hiatus where the drivers will head to the Nazareth Speedway, the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and across the pond, not even across the pond, across the country and across the other pond, over into the far east of Fuji, underneath the shadow of Mount Fuji at the legendary site of the 1976 Formula One Championship race that was depicted in the movie Rush. But then we get back here on the slate at the Albuquerque Speedway. The amount of Breaking Bad references I'm going to make in that race is going to be very funny on Friday, May 1st. And 2 races where we will not have coverage. Those will be at the Chicagoland Speedway as well as the Indianapolis Raceway Park at IRP. And then we've got 3 of the final 4 races of the season. Of course, the Talladega Super Speedway on Friday, May 29th. That's going to be an interesting one for me because I've got my girlfriend's sister's wedding the next day. So going to be a nightcap the night before and then dragging myself out of bed to go to a wedding. But that's going to be fun. And we're back on the road courses for the second time this season. The only broadcast of that'll be at the legendary Watkins Glen International. And then Pikes Peak will be the penultimate race of the season. That's going to be on Friday, June 12th. And finally, we'll end things up in Brooklyn, Michigan at the Michigan International Speedway for the 12th and final race of the Fuel Sportsman Series Season 4 slate here this season. And of course, link for the Fuel Discord server is down below in case you're watching this and want to get into NR offline racing. Highly recommend that you go down the Discord server, join the Fuel Racing League. Does not matter if you're a complete newbie or a veteran. All levels of competition are welcome here in the Fuel Racing League, and especially in this sportsman division that has been the baby of Apollo Hyde over these last couple of years. And to say that it has been nothing short of fantastic, especially with our coverage here on the Fuel Racing League, of the Fuel Racing League here on the North American Sim Racing Network. To say that the last 7 or 8 months or so as well, Kenny Comp. We just say, we were saying, oh, this has been great racing, and then Kenny Campos takes out Apollo Hyde right at the start-finish line. I can't think of a better way to end happy hour after that, Caleb, but like we were saying, no better way, no better place I would be here on Wednesday and Friday nights, and it is going to be an absolute blast all season long. And, of course, link for the Discord server down in the description box below. If you want to join up, highly recommended. That's where we saw guys like Connor Edwards, Corbin Wentz, Ike Durbin was relatively popular there for the time being, as I think everybody is just trying to middle school the 100 car that's still in the catch fence. Sportsman's officially back, Caleb.
We are so back. I think Apollo might need to take a backup car after that because I think it's pretty stuck, if you ask me.
Yeah. Grant Warren also middle schooling the 100 car.
Everyone's just trying to get that 100 unstuck. Doesn't look like anyone's been
She's like a Mario. It's just like a Mario Kart object, I think.
Yeah, it seems like that.
I don't know. Maybe I'll make that the thumbnail for this race afterwards. We got about a minute to go. RJ's just trying to get that 100 machine unstuck, and it doesn't look like he's going to have any success. Kenny nearly got her unstuck. I love, and the best part about this, I'm just messing around with free cam right now, just getting up close and personal. This looks like a skit that you would see in like the Idiots of NASCAR. Oh my lord, we have fun here in the Fuel Racing League. We have fun here on the North American Sim Racing Network. One final look at the starting lineup for tonight with Apollo Hyde, the pole sitter who we've been mucking around with a little bit there in the catch fence. She's going to sit on the pole, Vinfo Casado on the outside, Conti Schizzato in row 2, and Durbin Sorensen in row 3, Campos and Grant Warren in row 4. Rich Roy and Blake Warren in row 5. Connor Edwards and Jason Serio will be in row 6. RJ Bishop and Dunlaprod will be in row numero 7. Here tonight as we will get things kicked downstairs here in just a couple of moments. Hit the wrong button. Hate when that happens. Oh, we have fun. If we didn't have
That's
fun,
what it's all about.
I don't know what we would exactly be doing. Making sure our ticker is nice and recalibrated for the race itself. And we should be going
through an adventure in the infield.
Oh no, I'm afraid. Oh my lord.
Not the campers.
Oh, Hafiola taking the. Oh yeah. There's about
Like I said.
8 or 9 different instances of just. Got RJ signing and doing his signature on the front stretch. Hafiola is out by the Hollywood Hotel. Oh, I think we need to towel off after that, and we need to send things downstairs for pre-race ceremonies. Get things underway for tonight's rendition, season opener here of the Fuel Sportsman Series, season number 4, here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Buc-ee's 125.
Is this on? Drivers, start your engines.
Gentlemen, start your engines is a little bit weird. I'd say so myself, but we are off and running here. So we get ready to open season number 4 of the Fuel Sportsman. Apollo Hyde will lead this field of 14 cars strong to the green flag, and Vincenzo Focasato a little bit slow getting off of the gun here. Down the back straightaway, but we are ready to rock and roll in Hotlanta. Caleb, I am so excited to finally be back. We are back. We've never been this much back here. We are ready to go here for 125 miles in Hotlanta, USA. Pace car is down the pit lane as Hyde and Focasato will lead this field of 14 horses strong to the green flag. 5 months of waiting is over. Fuel Sportsman Series is back here on the North American Sim Racing Network.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
Jason
It's not
Stereo
true,
got a
those guys
little bit into the outside wall off of the opening gun, and he couldn't ask for a better start on the inside for Apollo Hyde. Everybody going single file down the back straightaway. Double file between Focasato and Conti. Conti on that outside lane. He's going to get the run off for the corner, but going to be abusing the tires a little bit here as they will head off for home, and Hyde will lead the opening lap of season number 4 of Fuel Sportsman. We are officially off and running. Like we said, 82 laps going on the big board here tonight. And Conti trying to make a little bit of a run at the 100 machine, but conserving your tires is going to be the biggest key for who is going to be able to get the job done here tonight. As Hyde way wide through the corner. Here comes Nikki. I knew the second that 100 took a very odd angle through the apex of 3 and 4, and she was going to be out of shape. And here comes Conti down to the low side by side for the race lead. Focasato waiting in the wings. Up the racetrack goes the 86. New race leader with Thunderbird and Nicky Conti. That Sprite machine out front and ready to do battle here. And how about Kenny Campos up to 3rd in that Darrell Waltrip Western Auto throwback up inside the podium. Grant Warren hot on his heels in the 33. Focasato conserving his tire wear a little bit, dropping back, and now Hyde wants that race lead back from the 85. But she might lose second here to Campos, who is already digging his way underneath that 100 car.
Battles going on here on this racetrack as Campos looking to clear Hyde here for the second position, and Will with a dive to the inside, through turns 3 and 4. And here comes Grant Warren as well in a 33, looking to make his way up into P3. All slipping back a little bit in that 100, but it could definitely be a bit of a strategic play here. Like we were talking about, that tire wear definitely going to be a huge factor in this race. It's probably the #1 factor that we're talking about in practice earlier on. So going to be something to watch out for as this race does go along. But something to watch out for right now is Kenny Campos trying to take the lead away from Conti, but with the apron there just a little bit slid up, had to get out of the gas. And Conti holding on the outside for now, but Campos is all over the back bumper of that 85.
Kenny is right on the rear end of that Sprite automobile, trying to run that middle lane. Conti running the low side, and now a little bit up the racetrack, sliding the tires out of 2 was the 17. And we're going to be seeing a lot of slip sliding all the way around. R.J. Bishop moving on up in that 48 machine. Started this race deep in the field all the way back in the 12th spot. Already up inside the top 10 in that 7th spot last time by. Top 5 here for the Ally 48. As all 3 of these Millennium Autosport Pontiacs have fallen back and they have gotten grouped up with one another. Focusato in the blue and yellow, Rich Roy in the red and yellow, and Blake Warren Harden to the outside. Well, he's not part of that trio. And that pink and yellow, number 86. And around goes Rafaela Sorensen. I believe just a single car spin for that 09. Down the racetrack goes that Dodge. No caution is out. We remain green. And that is such a tough break. She was running deep in the field all the way back, just outside of the top 10. And she will limp that Brahma 09 Dodge down into the service area. Jason Stereo now is going to be on the chopping block to be put a lap down, but that 09 with a lot of front end damage, she's going to go down several laps, and that is a tough break for her.
That's a really tough break there for Sorensen. Kind of just looked like a self-spin there through turns 3 and 4. We're talking about how just loose this old Atlanta surface can be, and looks like it might have just bit that 09 car of Sorensen right there. So yeah, really tough break, but I tell you what, all these guys really kind of just slipping around this racetrack, just barely kind of tiptoeing around as R.J. Bishop tiptoes his way around the 100 of Apollo Hot as they put E96 and Jason Stereo a lap down, who's going to run off the gas, kind of let everybody by there as he pulls off to the apron. But it's definitely getting interesting up here towards the front of the field as everybody's kind of bunching up here, as it looks like pretty much right now the top 6 are also kind of under a blanket here.
Yeah, we're starting to see everybody migrate a little bit more towards the middle and high lanes. You see R.J. Bishop, he's got the fastest lap of the night so far, a 29.098, and he had a moment there off of 4. That might drop him back to 6 as Schizzato down on the inside of that 48. R.J. into the wall once again, but he's able to hold on. He will fall to the outside of this 6-pack. Warren tracking up the track. He's just able to hold on as he got super tight, didn't hit that apex correctly through 1 and 2. And Hein will be back inside on the bottom step of the podium, but on the podium regardless. But Conti and Campos have been signing a little bit of a peace agreement right now as, you know, Kenny wasn't looking for, he was looking to be a little bit aggressive a couple of laps ago on the 85, but the more aggressive you are trying to get around this leader, the more you're going to beat up your tires, and everybody is just trying to get to the end here. Again, we can do about 30 laps on a can of fuel. Kenny, he's just trying to conserve tire wear to that point. Schizzato nearly getting the crumb horn there from the 33. And here comes Apollo down to the low side of the 17, side by side for second. And Schizzato, she might have an opportunity to make it 3 wide. She's going to think better of it. Dragging the brake a little bit there, watching that 100 machine go to work underneath the 17. And Hyde back up into that 2nd spot. Trying to get her first fuel win in about a month's time or so. She won the opening 2 races of the season in the Fuel Grand National Series. But ever since then, the last couple of races has kind of tapered off as Stereo back down the pit lane, I believe. He went around through 3 and 4, but we remain caution-free for the most part so far tonight. 13 laps into the Buc-ee's 125. But it's been a tough going over these last couple of weeks for the 100, you know. You go back to Wednesday night, going through hell in a cell on dirt for that 100 team. Was able to finish second a week ago, or a couple of days ago. Second the week before that at Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to see these last couple of races, but she's gunning for a win. And of course, you know, as the commissioner of the Fuel Sportsman Series, she's just going to clip the paint there through turn 2. Shoots that 100 up the track a little bit. Now we're starting to see her coming to her own. And again, long run Apollo is absolutely the Apollo high that you got to be worried about. She's just so good on those worn out Goodyear tires, just being able to find grip anywhere she pleases. She's going to go to the outside of Nikki Conti for that top spot. Conti trying to fight hard on the inside. That 100 Subaru just able to roll through the center of the corner with ease. She's going to have the run off of 2. Those guys will go side by side for the top spot. And Apollo High, the pole sitter, back out in front in that factory Subaru. Completing the 5th to 1st challenge in, of course, the last 10 laps or so. Pretty good run for Apollo to start things off. And now we're starting to see the cream rise to the top, Caleb.
Definitely. I think Apollo slipping back there a little bit off the start was definitely a strategic move. We try and save her stuff a little bit, and it's definitely showing now. She pulls back ahead to the race lead, and I think the Millennium Autosport cars were kind of doing the same thing. We saw them kind of lagging back a little bit in those first couple laps. Well, now they're well within this top 5 battle. Is Focus Sato taking 4th away from the 17 of Kenny Campos. Focus Sato's really pushing it as almost got together there with Campos and RJ Bishop. He also got Rich Roy making his way to the field. Dunlap Rod's now up here in the 74, just about out of nowhere as Rich Roy kind of catches the wall there into 1 and 2. Ike Durbin as well, trying to catch up to this little pack of cars here. But yeah, I definitely think comers and goers is something we're going to see a lot of in tonight's race, of course, with all the different tire strategies and stuff at play. And I think we're definitely seeing it right now with Apollo now taking the lead, but we got a lot of guys trying to make their way here through the field, like Focusato and Dunlap Rod, who's now making his way around that 48 of RJ Bishop. Last time by it was 8th, and now scored him a 6th, but he's going to take 5th away from that 48 of RJ Bishop.
Yeah, Dunn's certainly coming alive here tonight. Of course, has been a long-time stalwart in the Sportsman Series as well in that Chester's Family Market 74. Beautiful throwback looking scheme that, again, coming straight out of the late 90s with that blue and yellow checkered flag trim at Monte Carlo. And like I said, he's coming alive. Started in that back row, failed to put down a lap in qualifying like RJ Bishop. And he has made his way up inside the top 5, but now the pace starting to taper off a lot. Bishop set the fastest lap, just a hair over 29 seconds, and now these guys running 32 sevens across the board pretty much. As Grant Warren, he is certainly fallen off a lot. He's gotten into the outside wall a couple of different times.
Yeah.
We saw him fighting for the 3rd spot. He's going to pancake the wall
again,
going into 1. And I think that the rubber is completely off of the treads of that 33. He is very slow on the top end of the track, just trying to remain out of the way. And he will go at least a lap down, potentially a couple more if he comes down the pit area. He's got a lot of damage to the right-hand side of that Menards Ford. And the Warren Twins racing cars not have the best spin off of turn 4. Able to hold on to it there, going around on the front straightaway. And he will spin that 33 car around. He might be stuck in the infield. He's got a flat right front tire, left front tire. And he's not going to be able to come down the pit lane because he is all the way on the other side of the track. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a caution here with just how stricken that 33 machine is, but a bad night getting exponentially worse there for Grant Warren. And he is going to have to take the long walk of shame. Jason Stereo, half spin off of turn 2. He's able to hold on to it. And the tire wear certainly starting to come into play as LaPrade, after all of this battle nonsense, he's up to 2nd. And he's going to be fighting Apollo Hyde for this race lead again. Hyde was dropping back, trying to conserve that tire wear early on. But Dunn has got a little bit more tread on that 74, and here he comes. He's going to have a run to the outside, a little bit into the outside wall. And Hyde is going to be have enough real estate to throw the block on that 74. Conti looking for the crossover. Focusato now making this a 4-horse race. We are blitzing our way through this Buc-ee's 125. A little twitch there into the quad oval, but LaProd's got the inside lane. Hyde trying to hold serve on the outside. They're door to door. Don LaProd's going to take that top spot away in the last to first challenge. Completed as of right now there for that Chester's Monte Carlo. Nikki Conti, you can hear her punching in the clutch a little bit, trying to conserve fuel. Again, we're going to see these guys come down probably in about the next 5 or so laps. That's when this window is going to open for these guys to come down and make green flag pit stops, which on older tires, which are going to be screaming to be changed, as Rich Roy goes around down the front straightaway. Single car spin, no caution yet. Oh, Hafayella just barely avoided that 29 car. And that could have been our opening caution of the season, but a quick jerk to the right there for Sorensen. We'll keep this race green for the time being, and, well,
caution-free so far, but certainly not incident-free so far here tonight from Atlanta.
yeah, we've had a couple of different incidences in this race as LaProd's starting to pull away from this lead pack, and he got 4 cars under a blanket with one another. And Rich Roy, he's got a flat left front tire. He's trundling his way down, and we're seeing a lot of flat left fronts for a lot of these guys. And now RJ Bishop, he's going to come down the pit lane as well. So a little bit earlier on here than we anticipated for Bishop. He's going to come down with 55 to go. That's well within the window to do it. Make this race within one more pit stop. I think Hyde might be coming down the pit lane too. She's slowing up a little bit in the 100, and she will. Apollo Hyde will come down the pit lane for the opening time here on lap number 28. And that'll officially open up the pit cycle for everybody here as Apollo Hyde, the pole sitter, down the pit lane, looking to finally put on for Mr. Feelgoods for this second run of the night.
Well, the only one down here on lap 28. We'll see if anyone decides to come down here on lap 29 in response. Currently leading this race. He's on the inside, but it doesn't look like he's slowing down. Same for Focusato and Conti. And maybe Scazato as well. So everybody looking to try and stretch this a little bit longer, but Apollo diving into the pits, getting 4 fresh tires, and to go for a bit of an undercut here is both Hyde and RJ Bishop. So we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out once we get into this long run.
I'm liking the strategy for both of these drivers. Again, Apollo, she's really, really well on these long runs, and especially when you've got the tire disadvantage, that really plays into her wheelhouse, but it also plays into the wheelhouse of that 74 of LaPrade, who's going to stay out a couple more laps here. We had one car coming down. I couldn't quite tell who that was. That was Connor Edwards, who was down in the 02, blinking in and out. But nobody else making their first pit stop of the night just yet. Apollo Hyde is going to fall down to 9th. Bishop will be down in 10th. And Edwards will fall down a lap as well. So those are the only 2 cars that are on the lead couple of laps that have not been an incident just yet, that have come down the pit lane. Jason Stereo has pulled his 96 car behind the pit wall, so 13 cars remain out on track. 7 of them still in the lead lap as of right now. Grant Warren and Rich Roy are 4 laps down. Actually, Grant Warren's just 4 laps down. Rich Roy and Hafayella Sorensen 2 laps down, and Edwards, Hyde, and Bishop all beyond a lap based on strategy right now. And it looks like Kenny Campos is going to join that trio and make it a quartet of cars that are a lap down here on the strategy. Same thing with Emi Schizato. And here we go, the amount of strategies we're seeing out of all of these drivers here in this opening stretch. All across the board. Ike Durbin will come down from that 4th spot. Same thing with Blake Warren. Roy tracks up the track a little bit. He's able to hold on, and we'll see these guys are able to put down a little bit faster laps.
Ooh, and here comes our leader.
And here comes all 3 of our leaders. LaPrade, Focusato, and Conti all down the pit lane for the opening time tonight. We'll see where Hyde is. There's the 100 going above the 09. All these guys will get their laps back. We'll see what these guys will do here. Imagine, oh, I thought Durbin was going to run into that 37 car. We'll follow along with Vincenzo Focusato putting on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. There goes the 100 down the back straightaway, and I think Hyde might have this overcut cooking here. It's undercut cooking here, the 100. She is off track, just now coming off of the pit lane is the 74. And Apollo Hyde is going to cycle out to the race lead, but
she's got it.
how long is she going to be able to hold on here with those older tires? These guys coming down at lap 34. And Hyde coming down, what was it, lap 28 or 29, Caleb? So about a 5 or 6 lap difference in tire wear. But right now, based on the undercut alone, Hyde is going to be out in front of Laprade by about 3 seconds or so, but Laprade is going to reel in that 100 based on the tire wear differential. And that should cycle everything out. Everybody has come down the pit lane at least once tonight. And that'll do it for our opening set of pit stops here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Apollo Hyde back out in front based on the strategy, and Laprade 2.4 seconds behind that 100 machine with a little bit of lap traffic between first and second out on track. But it's been a clean, caution-free race so far here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, here on the North American Sim Racing Network's coverage of the Buc-ee's 125 here for the Fuel Sportsman Series season opener on the North American Sim Racing Network. Trey Wright and Caleb Rose on the call here on the NASRN. It'll be 37 laps, or 36 laps in the books this time by, 46 to go here in Atlanta. We've still got one more pit stop and plenty of action to go in this race, but Caleb, it has been so fun to watch these guys slip slide around here, and well, we've got ourselves about as long of a green flag run as you can ask for. Saw green flag pit stops for the opening time this season. Saw green flag pit stops for the second time this week, actually. And it's going to be fun. It has been a fun race. I feel like, it's been talking like a broken record by saying it's fun, but that's really been the only way to describe this race. It's been fun. It's been entertaining. And it has not been a fun night for Rafaela Sorensen, who will come back down the pit lane. She has got a ton of driver's side damage on that Dodge, so a bad night will continue to get worse. Grant Warren is only 3 laps down now based on the strategy, and he nearly net-coded into that 74. Those guys got a little too close for comfort.
I'll tell you what, Don Laprade is here.
He is right on the tail end of these late lap cars, and Connor Edwards spins around, nearly takes out the 74. Broadside trying to lock that 02 machine down. And that is a heavy amount of passenger side damage on that 74 Monte Carlo, and we remain green. And just as he was catching his way up to the back end of the 100, Don Laprade nearly getting taken out, and that was just a quick thinking that's going to keep him in contention for this race. I do not know if it's going to keep him in contention for the win, and Connor Edwards biting off a little bit too much than you could chew there. Turns 3 and 4 have just been calamity corner for these drivers tonight. And it claims another victim as Edwards will bring his automobile to the pit area. And that's really what the doctor ordered there for Hyde, is Laprade has dropped back a ton, 3.2 seconds off the back end of the 100 that last time by. I think he may have dropped back a little bit more than 3.2 seconds. He's probably going to be in the 5 deficit range. And especially if he's going to be forced to make that repair on the pit area. That is not what you want. He's actually, I thought it was going to be a little bit more between the 100 and 74. He actually gained a little bit of time. He's down to 2.7 seconds. But he is on a bull. He was a little bit on a bull named Fu Manchu going through 3 and 4, but he is now 2.7 behind that 100. And again, still a lot of meat on the bone for this race. We'll see what he is this time by. 2.7 that last time by, and he is going to remain at 2.7 with him in the 100. Actually, he's down to 2.4, so he's catching right back up to that 100 Subaru car. Time is a-ticking.
Definitely still was up to pace even after getting that right side damage at 29.7 that last time by. Apollo at 29.9. So LaProd's gotten back into the groove of it seems, and looking to try and hound back down that 100 car. But yeah, like you mentioned, that's a pretty decent. That's a pretty decent amount of damage there to the right side door of that 74 car. So we'll have to see if that does come into effect once he does make his final pit stop. It'll definitely be something to watch out for. But yeah, that's still a tough break there for Dunn LaPrade and Connor Edwards. LaPrade pretty much just about caught all the way up to Apollo Hyde. Had to check up there because of that. So have to see if he can close back into the 100 car. He's gotten that gap now back down to under 2 seconds. So he definitely still has the car to do it. We'll have to see if he can.
Yeah, we got these guys back in here. Nicky Conti has dropped a little bit off in that 85 car, tapering back to just inside the top 5 as Bishop and Focusato are running with one another here. We got 37 laps to go in the Buc-ee's 125, and it has been an entertaining one so far. But the only question that I'm going to have is LaPrade, with how much he's closed back in with that 100 machine. How much is going to be he abusing those Goodyear Eagles, putting himself a little bit more on par with that 100 machine, and is he going to be able to stay out as long as he did on that last run? Again, he's got about a 5 or 6 lap difference in tire wear as he goes into the outside wall along with Roy. Those two guys were running on rails, nose to tail. Rich trying to get out of the way of this 74 car, and he will abide. Dunn will go down to the inside. Not quite the dive bomb, the Dunn dive bomb that we're typically accustomed to seeing him perform over these last couple of seasons, but let's close that gap underneath a half a second this next time by, and here we go. The fight is back on with under 35 to go in Atlanta. LaPrade versus Hyde. Battle as old as the Sportsman series itself, essentially, and we got plenty of lap traffic in front of these guys as well, with Sorensen, Edwards, Compost, and Blake Warren all in the gun sights of these drivers, and here comes Dunn. He's right on the rear end of this 100. He'll go to the high side.
To the outside.
We're going to go side by side for the race lead here at Hotlanta. He's got the preferred tire wear. He's got the preferred line, and Hyde is just going to let him go on by, and Dunn LaPrade, after going into the outside wall, after quickly evading that spinning 02 car, as Hyde nearly loses the car off the back end. And that 100 machine is very, very loose over these last couple of laps. She's been twitching back and forth a lot, and she's already lost about 150, 200 feet to that 74 car, and LaPrade looking to check out here in Hotlanta.
Already pulling away there in that 74. I definitely still think he has the fresher tires underneath him because of how much longer he did stay out than the 100 car of Apollo Hyde. Looking to try and put that to use here. Try and build up a gap before we do get to that final pit stop. I think that's what LaPrade is looking to try and do here, especially if Apollo does stay on the same strategy, does decide to pit earlier on. See how this all ends up shaking out. But LaPrade definitely looking like he's got the car to beat right now. But like I said, still got one more leg of strategy to go, and we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out.
Well, right now we're expecting to see that 100 machine come down the pit lane within the next 5 or so laps, and LaPrade, based on the same strategy that he committed, he can make it to lap 68 on where he's running right now. So the undercut certainly favoring LaPrade, but it took about 20 laps for Dunn. Actually, it took about 15 laps for Dunn to get behind that 100 machine. The big question is going to be, is Apollo going to be able to make a big enough gap to where, you know, we got 30 laps to go. We'll expect her to come down the pit lane here in the next 5. I really think that based on this strategy, The ball is very much in that 74 car's court. As long as he can just have a nice clean pit stop, no issues. The pace that he's been running, and we saw after that opening pit stop, it only took him about a handful of laps to catch back up to that 100 car. As long as you have a nice pit stop and you're just running that exact same strategy that you ran in that second run. And again, you know, he caught back up to the 100 within 10 laps of coming out of the pit lane, got into the outside wall, and caught back up again. I'm feeling like Dunn has got the best strategy out of all these guys right now, just based on that tire wear. But again, you know, there's a ton of X factors. You got Kenny Campos in front of him. Could he have an issue and spin you out? Could we get a caution flag or opening of the night?
Oh.
Time will only tell. Edwards
Somebody
down.
might have went around.
That's a good one.
Was it Connor Edwards?
That's a good
Well,
one,
he
man.
doesn't sound like that car. That car might be down a cylinder, as it was Grant
Oh, was
Warren
it Grant Warren.
and Blake Warren. So the Warren brothers getting into one another. And Connor Edwards down the pit lane as well, and it has not been a great night for the Warren Wentz Racing related cars, and Kenny Campos being caught by Hyde at a very bad time. That's going to cost Apollo a little bit more time to that 74 car. "27 laps to go here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. RJ Bishop still with the fastest lap, so that's going to be good enough for a couple of bonus points for him. For in the witching hour, and again, a big bravo. I want to give a bravo to everybody here. We have had a couple of different incidences in this race, but overall, as I thought the caution flag was out there for a brief moment, I thought I saw the pit guy, the official at the end of the pit area, but we have had a couple of different incidences, but overall, as Apollo's going to come down the pit lane, right as I'm complimenting the field, again, this has been a very clean race. No cautions on the board yet. Again, we got 26 laps to go, but right as we thought that she was going to come down here on lap 56, Hyde will come down to make her money stop. And Dunn is going to put that 100 car a lap down, and he can realistically stay out until lap 68. So an additional 10 laps for Dunn. And I think that should be good enough to get him to the end here, based on the strategy that he's got running. Focusato is on that same strategy, but he's 3.5 seconds back of the 74. We'll see if he's going to put that Kodak 37 into high gear and try to catch up a little bit if Laprade is going to try to conserve as much as he can. But, you know, if you're done, you know, you want to put as much of a distance between yourself and Apollo as you can here. But he's letting Connor Edwards go by, and I think he's just trying to conserve a little bit of his stuff just so he has enough grip to where he can quickly get down the pit lane. Because, again, 3 and 4 have been Calamity Corner. They have not been a great spot on track for these drivers. Just trying to get down the pit lane as quickly as you can and as effectively as you can. And if he does that, just trying to conserve that tire wear a little bit. Again, last lap running a 30.912, and you can hear him punching in the clutch a little bit going through the corners. He's certainly playing very conservative. That's allowed Focusato to close within 2 seconds. Kenny Campos coming off the pit lane after making his final pit stop. Rich Roy and RJ Bishop, as well as Ike Durbin, down for their final stop of the night. But I'm really liking where this 74 car is sitting. Trying to complete the last of first challenge once again, Caleb. It seems like he does that almost every time we're on a broadcast. Whether he's at the back end of the field like Las Vegas and charging his way and making a 4-wide bonsai pass to win at Las Vegas, or to win at Hanford after getting caught up in another incident as well. Can never count out Dunn Laprade out of these races. You can throw any sort of adversity at him, and he's just going to take it on the chin and absolutely stuff it back to you. Didn't have as much adversity here tonight as we've typically been accustomed to seeing him have, but he's ran fantastic pace. He's ran a really good race so far, and Caleb, I think just one clean pit stop. I think he's going to be the car to beat here tonight, no question.
Definitely, it's going to be interesting to see how this does go, this final pit stop. We'll see if he has to repair that damage or if he can just keep it and just change the tires and get that 74 back out on the racetrack. It's going to be interesting to see how this pit stop does play out. I think this is going to be the decider here, whether or not that 74 is put in a position to go for the victory, because I think it's going to probably cycle out similar to last time where Apollo's going to have the lead, but LeBron's going to be on those fresher tires, and we saw how quickly he closed in to that 100 there under that first cycle of stops. So I definitely do think LeBron's still in the catbird seat here. Just needs to deliver here on pit road. He's still staying out on the racetrack, trying to stretch it as far as he can. He's going to get the freshest tires of the field here as we head into this final run of the race. But
Nearly some trouble in front of
him. Fantastic run for him here tonight.
Nearly some trouble in front of him as Edwards and Bishop got a little bit squirrely off of turn number 2. Those guys having a pretty solid run. I don't think they're running for position. Actually, I think Bishop and Kenny Campos are running for position out there. But top 4 cars have not come down the pit lane yet. Actually, Emmy Schizzato might have come down the pit lane. Actually, Emmy just coming off of the pit lane now, so she has made her final pit stop of the night. LaPrade, Focusato, and Conti still on that 34 laps run strategy that we saw earlier on. And I imagine they're going to come down the pit lane here in a couple of laps. Is Focusato going to come down? Now he is. And LaPrade spins coming down the pit lane. He's able to loop it around. An incredible comeback. But that was a gift there for Focusato as Hyde is going to blitz on by. We talked about those mistakes that you did not need to make, and now he just needs an impeccable pit stop here. I don't know how much they're going to hold on to him when it comes to damage. We're going to have 18 laps to go. I think he's just going to select no damage, do not repair the damage, just get me back out there. And there he goes, a great pit stop for LaPrade. But again, he's got to trundle all the way back onto the pit area. Focusato, Jack is dropped for him. He's out right behind that 74 car as well. Where is Hyde?
Well clear, coming off of turn 2.
And Apollo Hyde well clear of that 74. She's already between 3 and 4 as LaPrade is just now getting up to speed. That could be a very costly mistake. Broadcaster's jinx just unfortunately coming there at the worst possible time. And now it is money time here for LaPrade. He got 16 laps to make up about 8 seconds behind that 100 machine. We'll see what the gap will be. 8.7 seconds. That's the gap that LaPrade is going to need to make up on this 100 machine. But he does have about 10 lap fresher tires than Hyde. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be done with 15 laps to go. We'll see how much he cut in that last time by.
My goodness, he cut in about a second.
Ooh, boy.
He needs some heaters to get this done, and I think he knows it.
Last time by, he ran 0.8 of a second faster than Hyde. And again, you know, if he has another heater this time around.
That's the fastest lap of the race.
Woo, boy.
Oh.
A new top time of the night, a 28.979. A full second faster than Apollo Hyde. I think Apollo might be in desperate trouble here. He's underneath 7 seconds. He's got that tire wear advantage. This race is far from over with 14 laps to go. 13, excuse me, so a little bit more on Apollo's end. She might be a sitting duck, and you have got the Jaws theme playing here if you're Apollo Hyde. That 74 Monte Carlo is moving it. He is booking it here at Hotlanta, running hot lap after hot lap. And now they're not within the same frame just yet. 12 laps to go. He may have tapered off there a little bit more. See what timing and scoring will say. Still waiting for it to update over on our end, but I believe 5.3 seconds now. The gap, another 29.9 or 09. Now 0.8 of a second faster than Hyde. He's a chugging. Now they're within the same frame here on the cameras. Hyde has gotten around Blake Warren. Is he going to run out of time, though? We got 11 laps to go, but now they're on the same straightaway. Now under 5 seconds there for Laprade. Oh boy, if I'm Apollo, I'm just telling all these lap cars, get out of my way. I am just trying to pedal to the end here. 10 laps remain in the Buc-ee's 125. And Apollo High, or Dunn Laprade is trying to utilize all 125 of these miles to mount a comeback for the ages here this evening, if he is able to get the job done. 4.3 seconds the gap between the 100 and the 74. But now only half a second faster for Laprade that last time by, and he might be tapering off a little bit here. 9 laps to go. Laprade still cutting into that lead a little bit here, 4.3. And they're still on the same straightaway as one another, but he might be running out of time here as Hyde is opened up the gap. No, still it's down to 3.8. It's under 4 seconds. And he's within the same stretch of asphalt. Now, Paulo, you hear that 100 driver just punching in the clutch here and there. Here comes Laprade. He's caught up to Blake Warren. He's going to get a nice tailwind off of the back end of this 12 car with 8 to go. And Blake is just going to move all the way to the outside. And he's now got the 100 in the gun sight, 7 to go. Can Laprade get there in time? Or is he going to run out of time as Apollo Hyde, who has led 36 laps here tonight, just trying to get things going. Now the gap down to 3 seconds.
Well, within the same straightaway, the pace has slowed down a little bit from that 74 with the tires starting to wear out, but he is still chipping into the lead of that 100. But the question is, like you're talking about, is there enough time? That time around, the 74 going to put another dent in the lead, now down to 2.6. Laps are winding down, though, coming to lap number 78. Going to be 5 laps to go this time by. Does Laprade still have enough in the tank? Does he still have enough in those tires to close into that 100 of Apollo Hyde?
Well, Apollo, she is running very, very, very slow lap times right now. She ran a 30.1 that last time by. I think she's going to run a little bit slower. Now they're within the quarter level of one another, and that 74, he is still running at full song, 2.6 the gap, now down to under 2 seconds there with 5 laps to go. This race still far from over. Now about 100 yards separate the 100 Subaru from the 74 Monte Carlo. Laprade has been involved in 2 incidences tonight, but he will not go away. We were talking about it right before he spun coming down the pit area. That adversity that we have seen him come from behind.
Falling off big. It's down to about a second.
1.1 seconds now separate the 100 from the 74, and that tire wear advantage coming into full favor of Dunn Laprade. 4 laps remain here in Hotlanta, and Laprade, he is within drafting distance of the 100. 3 to go this next time by, and Dunn Laprade has closed an 8-second gap down to under half a second. Here we go for the race lane in Hotlanta, Caleb.
Apollo, a bit of a wiggle there going into 1 and 2, trying to plant that car on the bottom, but Laprade has the grip. It's going to carry him to the back bumper as we head down the back straightaway. Here he comes, looking to the insiders. We had a 3 and 4. We're side by side. It's Dunlap-Prod gonna come back from 8, almost 9 seconds to take the lead with 2 to go.
Does he have the 100 car cleared? Yes, he does. Sticks high in the air. 2 laps to go. And again, if these guys get together, Focusado was within 3 seconds of these guys. Focusado would like to get 2 wins this week, but Apollo Hyde now continuing to fall all the way back. The gap now gaining in favor of Laprade. Can Focusado make this a 3-horse race for the win potentially? But off of turn number 4, white flag in the air one more time around the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He had to go into the outside wall to avoid a spinning 0-2 machine. He spun coming down the pit area, but he had to run the fastest lap of the race and drive the race of his life for what can only be described as one of the best comeback stories in Fuel Sportsman Series history. What a start to Season 4 as off of turn number 4, the 74 of Dunlap-Prod wins the Buc-ee's 125 here in Atlanta.
That was beautiful. What a comeback from Dunlap-Prod. 9 seconds. 9 seconds he made up in about 20 or so laps.
The spin and win has been about as accustomed for Dunlap-Prod as fish and water. And he is going to get the job done, leading 29 laps on the night in a caution-free affair here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And for Apollo Hyde, just, you got to feel for her. She thought she had that strategy in the bag. And if this race was just a couple of laps short, she would have got this win. Vincenzo Focusado is going to put that 13 car, or the 37 car, towards the trailer. But Dunlap-Prod burning it down here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Your winner here tonight in Hotlanta, Georgia.
Doing some 360s on his own accord this time around.
Gonna burn that 74 car down to the ground. And that'll do it here for night number 1 of the Fuel Sportsman Series. Taking a look at your full results. Dunlap-Prod wins the Buc-ee's 125 by 0.4 of a second over Apollo Hyde. Vincenzo Focusado will round out the top 3. You'll be hearing from your podium drivers here in just a couple of minutes. Nicky Conti and R.J. Bishop will round out the top 5. And I didn't even mention it during that run, Caleb. Dunlap-Prod once again completes the last of first challenge, started tonight in 14th. He has made his way all the way up in that first spot. Bishop rounding out the top 5, like we said. Ike Durbin in 6th and Emmy Schizzato in 7th. She was the final car on the lead lap. Blake Warren, Kenny Campos, and Rich Roy all a lap down, 8th through 10th respectively. Rafaela Sorensen finished 11th, 3 laps down, and Connor Edwards was 4 laps down, the last car out on track in 12th. Grant Warren and Jason Stereo failed to finish the race here tonight, but what a drive out of Dunn once again. And we're just starting to not even we got to expect the unexpected when it comes to Laprade, dude. Dunn is just such a great driver when you've got that adversity, and he showed it here tonight with an absolutely bananas win to come from behind to make up 9 seconds at the old version of Atlanta to win here. Caleb, what a race.
Absolutely. That was quite the way to start out the season here tonight from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. A lot of great racing, a lot of great moments, and a fantastic comeback to end it off on there by Dunlap-Prod. What a fantastic way to start out the season.
A beautiful way to start things off at a beautiful track, but don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, as we have just completed the opening part of tonight's broadcast. You'll hear from your podium finishers here in just a couple of moments after race number 1 of the season is officially in the books for the Fuel Sportsman Series. Dunlap-Prod, your winner of the Buc-ee's 125, will be back here in just a couple of moments for post-race interviews here on the North American Sim Racing Network. what an opener to season number 4 of the Fuel Sportsman Series here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway with Trey Wright and Caleb Rose bringing you post-race coverage. The Buc-ee's 125 here for the season opener here at the North American Sim Racing Network's coverage of the Fuel Sportsman Series here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Once again, another comeback win for Don LaPrade. Up to overtakes a 9-second disadvantage out on track to beat Apollo Hyde here in the season opener. Your initial thoughts right after this race, Caleb?
Like I said, that was definitely quite the fun way to start out what is sure to be a very great season year of Fuel Sportsman Series competition. Like I said, had a lot of great battles here tonight, a lot of fantastic moments, and a fantastic comeback as kind of the cherry on top there by Don LaPrade. A fantastic run all around for that 74, starting from the back and all the adversity faced in tonight's race, whether getting into the wall, trying to avoid that spinning Connor Edwards, or looping it coming into the pit lane. Fantastic showing tonight from that 74, as well as Apollo High definitely had a fantastic run here tonight, as well as is usually the case for that 100 car. And Focusado, a really good run there, and that 37 could have maybe got up towards the front if we had a couple more laps left in this race, but still a fantastic run from our top 3. Nicky Conti with a nice run there in that 85. RJ Bishop coming home with a top 5 as well. Just a great race here tonight from Atlanta, as is usually the case with this racetrack as well. Always usually a treat here at the old version of Atlanta, and tonight was absolutely no different.
It definitely was, and like you mentioned there a little bit, lost in the sauce in that whole 2-car battle we had at the end there was our 3rd-place finisher of Vincenzo Focusado. As we bring him into the broadcast booth here, you got a copy of us here tonight?
Loud and clear, Trey.
Well, it was certainly one race for the ages here, and what a way to open up Sportsman season number 4. A third place run for you tonight after your win on dirt at the Fuel Motorsport Park on Wednesday. Just going back here after a near 6-month hiatus from these Sportsman cars, yeah, especially at a track like Atlanta that is such a tough challenge for a lot of these drivers, veteran or rookies alike. Coming into tonight, you knew the tire wear was going to be the big thing. How did that really affect your strategy here coming into this evening?
Yeah, just treat every start. It's gonna be every start and restart like it's gonna be the last one, because if you if you don't drive to tire saving, it will catch you out going green all the way to the end. So that's exactly what we did, and lo and behold, we didn't even get a yellow. So yeah, the strategy is just to try and take it easy, try and roll in easy, try and keep the mid-corner speed down, try and turn that wheel as few times and as shallow of angles as you can possibly can, and hope that you're in front of your competition by the end of the run. If you see them pulling away, just gotta try and calm yourself down, remind yourself that they'll come back to you, and hope that you're correct in saying so. It wasn't quite for me, but I think I'm really happy with how clean that race was, and how cleanly everyone drove me, and how blasted fun Atlanta Motor Speedway is. I don't think I could have asked for a better night.
Yeah, this track was so fun to watch you guys blitz all the way around, and again, we saw the tire wear be the deciding factor in this race like we knew it was going to be. But, jumping back into the Sportsman Series, it's this fixed setup that we, after the 5-month hiatus that we said, what are you looking forward to this season? We got a very diverse slate of tracks here in season 4, and what can we really expect from you here this year?
On a personal level, this spring season has there's 3 tracks that are near and dear to my heart that are just my all-time favorites, and 2 of them I have never had the chance to race at once in this game. And both of them are on the spring schedule, so I'm absolutely stoked. I got a special livery coming up for them. One of them's only in 2 weeks. We're going to Nazareth, and then IRP later in the season 2 in May. Got a really special livery for them, and am just so excited to finally get the chance to race there. I'll be happy as can be, no matter how I do, and just looking forward to the season in general. It's fixed setup's a lot different than open, like you said. It's just a matter of seeing how the car behaves and trying to drive in a way that sort of works with it, and see how it goes. But Apollo's usually very adventurous with their lineup of tracks, with unique, imaginative, and somewhat lesser used circuits. So I really, it's good to be back. We had a nice break, nice chance to recharge, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season.
Well, it's certainly going to be a fun season here in season 4 for the spring side of things in Sportsman, and we look forward to seeing you out on track 5 more times here on the NASRN's coverage of the Sportsman series, and of course all throughout here with the 11 final races. But Caleb, you got anything else for our third place finisher here tonight?
Well, definitely have to say that was quite the race tonight from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Y'all absolutely put on a show tonight. Definitely have to congratulate you there with a podium finish, but definitely got to ask you. We saw you kind of lurking in the shadows there in the closing laps of the race, slowly kind of closing into the top 2 as they were duking it out. So definitely got to ask if there was more laps in this race, you think you could have maybe caught up, or I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I definitely could have caught up Paulo because their pit stop, you saw them. They pitted way earlier than me and Dunn did, so their tires were shot. They wouldn't have had much of a chance to go faster if they wanted to. I'm not so sure about Dunn though. I was closing in on him too, but I suspect he was sort of just trying to go nice and easy and make sure he doesn't drive too aggressively while trying to take the lead. Doesn't want to take himself out of the chance for the win. I think I lost the race on pit road. Especially full green flag runs, you got to execute everything. That includes the pit stops. And to be honest, I kind of thought I nailed them, but I must be wrong because I lost a second on both pit stops. And the first one lost me the draft. The second one lost me the draft. And in addition to those 2 seconds, all that draft time cost me so much time. So I think I really lost myself a chance to sort of mix it up with them and see how that would have turned out. That would have made it even more fun, but that's on me. No one to blame for that but myself. And still glad I ran a clean race. But yeah, I think Dunn had this one under wraps either way for sure. He executed everything, including those pit stops, perfectly. Last to first with no yellows is just astounding. The guy's an incredible racer.
He definitely is, and the company we've got here on the Fuel Sportsman side of things, definitely very strong here, as we always see here in the Fuel Racing League. But Vincenzo, you know the drill by now. We'll give you the floor to thank any sponsors you want. If there's anybody else you want to shout out here on the NASRN airwaves for the second time in the last 3 days, Vincenzo, the floor is yours, my man.
You betcha. Thank you both for bringing us the start of the start of the new season here tonight. I couldn't have asked for a better track to do it at, so I'm really glad that we got some TV coverage to go back and watch later. So thank you guys as always for the great job you do there. And a real shout out to everyone in the race. I won't stop going back to it, but yellow free on a track that's a total ball, but not easy, not with the tire fall off and with the lack of grip. So the fact that everyone treated each other well enough to never make contact in 82 laps is just something I need to applaud everyone for. This was a great race. I'm happy to be a part of. Shout out to anyone who might be watching. Hi, Dad. Hi, Gail. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Cameron. Hi, Team EFR. Yeah, and I already shouted out you guys. I forgot to mention one more time. Shout out to you guys for putting up with my with my spotter nightmare of a lineup that I brought to the track this year. Hope that won't be giving you fits the rest of the season, but was really excited to use these new liveries. I'm glad how they turned out. So hope they looked all right out there. And I suppose that's everyone. Yeah. Thank you guys once more.
They definitely look beautiful out there underneath of the lights here in Atlanta, and you were able to take one of them to the podium finish here tonight. Congratulations, Vin, on a great third-place run, and we'll see you on Wednesday down at Rockingham in the Sand Hills for Fuel Grand National.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Caleb.
That's Vincenzo Focasato, driver of the number 37 Kodak Blue Pontiac Grand Prix for Millennium Autosport. And we'll go into our runner-up finisher here tonight. Driver of the number 100 Subaru Factory Subaru. It looked like it was going to be a great pit strategy run to the end there, but unfortunately just coming up a couple of laps short. But Apollo, first and foremost, what do you think you really need to do differently on that run? Well, actually, first and foremost, thank you for coming on here. And secondly, just what do you think you need to do differently strategy-wise?
I don't think that we could have done anything different strategy-wise. I think our strategy was pretty much perfect. Just the better driver won. That's pretty much it. We had an awesome car tonight. I felt like that we were super fast, but once the tires started wearing out, it was just clear that the 74 was going to be a lot faster than us. So I really knew that the only way that we were going to be able to beat Dunn was going to be to get off sequence and try to split the race pretty much directly into thirds rather than running the pit cycles all the way out. And it almost worked out for us. If the race was only 80 laps, it would have worked out for us. Unfortunately, this is an 82 lap race. So just a little unfortunate, but our Subaru was awesome all night long. I could drive the car pretty much wherever I wanted on the track. There was one time once where the car did something that I didn't like, and whenever it's only one time in 82 laps, you have a really good. So yeah, I love this thing. I love coming to this track, and the top three, I mean, we were all on different pitch strategies, and we finished within a second and a half of each other. So that's how you know we had one hell of a race going on out there.
We definitely did, and I saw that you said it already in the Discord chat, but a caution-free season opener here in Sportsman. What does it really mean to just have the level of competition be where it was tonight, where everybody was racing clean? You had some single-car incidents here and there, but overall, it was about as clean and great of a race here tonight. How does it really make you feel as the director here at Sportsman?
Oh, it makes me feel amazing. Now, obviously, we had our fair share of self-spins out there, and they happen, and it's unfortunate when that kind of stuff happened, but everyone was super clean. We were all giving ourselves plenty of space. This is a wide and fast track, and we were all really running our own strategies and our own business. And at the end, of course, once we get to the pit stops, it starts really getting strung out compared to who was able to get on and off of pit road really well. And that's one place that we really shined. I know that Vincenzo and Dunn had a couple of issues getting on and off. We did not. We were perfect on pit road tonight. And that's something that really put us in a position to try to win a race that we were probably the third fastest car on.
Yeah, you were just really, really strong out there, and this is going to be one of 12 really fantastic races we're going to see all season long. But we already went through the rundown of the season schedule here for the spring season for Sportsman. But what are your real highlights as the director and the mastermind behind this whole slate here of 12 very different tracks from one another? And what are the highlights and tracks we got to watch out for?
Oh, I, in my personal opinion, all these tracks are highlights. With the exception of Chicagoland. I'm not a big fan of Chicagoland. But we got it on the schedule anyways because I am nice. But yeah, we've got Charlotte, Nazareth, Alley Raceway coming up. I said that in reverse order, but those are going to be the next three races, and all three of those are going to be uniquely challenging in their own ways. Of course, the Alley Raceway, a really tight Martinsville-like track. It has a right corner in it, so it's L-shaped. That's going to be something that is very unique. That's going to have a very short track feel to it. Nazareth, of course, is a triangle oval. It's pretty flat. That's going to have a feel that's going to be pretty similar to Walt Disney World, if you've ever been there, or very similar to Hanford earlier in the GNS, just with a lot less tire wear. And then, of course, we've got Charlotte, which is just its own beast altogether. A lot of people compare it to Atlanta or Texas, but it is completely different from those two tracks. It's a lot narrower. It's even faster, in my opinion. Maybe it only seems that way because it's so narrow. So it's a really tough track. And then, of course, we've got some road courses, some super speedways, some short tracks peppered in. And then the final four races, once we come back from Memorial Day, Talladega, Watkins Glen, Pikes Peak, and Michigan, are just four phenomenal tracks in NR 2003. So I love this schedule that we put out. It's partially driver voted for the schedule. Most of the tracks I put in, but I also put in a vote for everyone in the league. What tracks you want to go to, and the tracks that won, every single track that did well in the polls, are all on the schedule. So I'm really loving this, and I can't wait to continue on Friday nights here. This is going to be a really awesome 11 out of 12 weeks.
Definitely is going to be a lot of fun here over these these next couple of weeks, and we're going to have a ton of coverage here on the North American Sim Racing Network. But Caleb, got anything else for our runner-up finisher here tonight in a fantastic race here at Atlanta?
Yeah, this was definitely a fantastic showing and a fantastic race overall here tonight from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You all absolutely put on a show and really laid the groundwork for what was probably sure to be a fantastic season of sportsman competition. But definitely have to give you a lot of credit for tonight's race. Definitely going off the strategy there, definitely a bold call. And like you said, almost worked out there, but Adam LeProd kind of put the pedal to the metal there at the end and was able to close the gap. But still a fantastic run here tonight. Managed to keep everything clean, and I'm sure the time is definitely coming this season. I definitely have to give you a lot of credit for everything you've been able to do here for the Fuel Racing League, and especially running this series. It's always usually such a treat, and cannot wait to see what the rest of the season will have in store.
Thank you very much, Caleb. I can't wait as well. I'm just as excited.
It is going to be a fun and fantastic next 12 weeks here for the Fuel Sports. And of course, if anybody wants to join, link for the description or link down in the description box below for the Fuel Discord server. If anybody is interested in joining either the Grand National Series or the Sportsman Series, highly recommend the Sportsman Series enough. It is the diamond in a sea of many diamonds here in the Fuel Racing League, but it is absolutely fantastic racing, run by yours truly, Apollo Hyde, which we'll give the floor now to thank any sponsors you want. You definitely know the drill here by now. So, Apollo, you got the floor.
Yeah, nobody additional to thank this week. I know I've had several call-outs over here over the past several weeks, but we got a little bit of a break here coming into April, and I'm glad to just be able to take it easy. I'm just really glad about my Subaru being so awesome tonight, and I'm looking forward to more racing on Wednesdays and Fridays.
It's definitely going to be fun. It's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be one hell of a season once again. But Apollo, thanks for coming on here post-racing. We'll see you down in the Sandhills of Rockingham, back in a Grand Touring car, or a Grand National car on Wednesday. I'm still in the Grand Touring mood for my offline side of things, but glad to be back here in Sportsman. We'll see you here on Friday nights.
Thank you very much, Trey. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
User left your channel.
It's Apollo Hyde, driver of the number 100 Subaru. Runner-up finisher here tonight, and finally bringing in the man of the last 45 minutes or so. Well done. I think to say that we're not really surprised at these absolute bonsai comebacks from you, but tonight definitely took the cake as you came back from a couple of different incidences to get the season opener here tonight. First and foremost, congratulations.
Yep, thank you. Atlanta's one of my favorite racetracks, and I'm glad that I raced here tonight because this is probably one of my strongest racetracks I've ever raced on, and to be able to get another win here at Atlanta is always pretty sweet.
It definitely is, and of course, coming into tonight, you knew that tire wear was going to be the big thing, and we knew that absolutely factored a ton into your strategy. You're coming down every 32, 34 laps or so on both of those stops, but that final pit stop, going down the pit lane, looping that car around, what immediately just went through your mind at that point?
I downshifted into reverse by accident because it just slipped out of my hand, so I just had to just grab second first and then try to let the car just kind of control the car, let it do its own thing as well at one point, and then get back on the gas and try to minimize the time loss that I had. And I only lost. I don't know how much time I lost, but it was definitely enough to where I had to go in the maximum overdrive for sure. Which it definitely took me a long time to get to Apollo for sure. But yeah, like I said, just went from fourth to third, and then when I was shifted into reverse second, it slipped out of my hand by accident and shifted in reverse instead. So I had to get out of that real quick, go to second, and then go to first, and then like I said, just use the brakes and the throttle, try to minimize the amount of the time loss and let the car do its own thing too at some points during my spin, and then just loop it around and try to get back at it.
Yeah, and of course, you absolutely blitzed the rest of the field, and Caleb and I were keeping track of you all throughout that last 18-lap run of the end, and you were setting fast lap after fast lap, blitzing everybody, and finally caught up to that 100 machine. But we've seen you come back a ton these seasons. We've seen these late race comeback drives for you a lot. We saw it at Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. We saw it at the Fuel Hyper Speedway in that battle between you and Vincenzo Focusato late in the Super Speedway Series slate. But overall, like, we see a lot of drivers crumble out of adversity, and how do you really handle that as a veteran racer who's, seen a lot of adversity in your career and been able to overcome it a lot?
Well, I mean, when you do this for as long as I have been, it sounds cliche, but it does tend to get easy over time. I mean, even though, I don't want to discredit that to anyone else, because it's still very hard to be competitive and be really fast and good at this level for sure. But I guess to me, I mean, when you've been racing around for so long, like I said, you kind of know what you're doing at that point, I guess you could say.
Well, definitely, you know what you've been doing, as that's the second spin and win that you've had over these last month or so. But overall, looking at this slate of upcoming races for the Sportsman Series, we've got quite an array of tracks that Apollo has put together. What tracks are you looking forward to, and what tracks are really your highlights here for Season 4?
I'll be honest, I forgot the rest of the schedule other than Atlanta, to be truthful. I'm just hoping that they're all good tracks, and like I said, I don't even know what the schedule is for all the oh, here it is. I'm just looking at the spreadsheet. The alley raceway, Nazareth. I'm looking forward to Nazareth, Charlotte, ditto, Fuji, ditto, Chicagoland, Indianapolis, Talladega, EU, Watkins Glen, Pikes Peak, Michigan. Yeah, everything but Talladega seems enticing to me. So.
Well, it's going to be a great race. It's going to be a great season. It was started off with a absolutely banger race here tonight, as we've always been accustomed to seeing out of you guys. But Caleb, you got anything for our winner here tonight?
Definitely have to say that was quite the race and quite the recovery out of you tonight. That's honestly probably one of the best recoveries I've ever seen, especially here in NR Online. Absolutely fantastic there, going from back of the field, making your way to the front, avoiding a spinning Connor Edwards, nearly putting that thing in the wall, and then even after doing a 360 loop into the pit lane, came back from about nine or so seconds and about 15 laps to take the win. Definitely one of the craziest performances that I've seen online in this game. So I definitely have to give you so much credit for that win here tonight. A fantastic job tonight, my man, and cannot wait to see what you got in the tank here for the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah, I mean, this was definitely definitely one that I had to earn it for sure. I mean, you obviously have to earn it to win every single race for sure. But yeah, just like I said, just remain calm, and then and sometimes when you don't get calm, you just kind of just let loose sometimes. And in the case at Las Vegas, it just got a little bit of the best out of me, and I guess that's what motivates me to keep on going. I still have that competitive fire. Still have that competitive and that fire in me too. So I think it's just like I said, like I said, it sounds cliche. It might sound egotistical, but to me, it just gets easier over time.
Well, definitely does. You've got a lot of experience of it, and you had a drive for the ages once again here tonight. But Dunn, thank you so much for coming into here post-race, and we'll see you next week at the Alley Raceway. Looking to make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, I'm just shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast. Shout out to everyone at home watching the race. I hope that it was a fun race for y'all to watch, especially those final 18 laps or so. I hope that I made it entertaining for everyone back at home.
Oh, you did.
Shout out to Team EFR. Shout out to Tyler and Apollo and all the admins in this league, and of course Tyler Stallhood, the owner. Shout out to him, and then shout out to all my friends and family for making me better.
Well, you certainly showcased a lot of that talent here tonight, Don, and thank you so much for coming on here and showcasing and winning. Just absolutely great come from behind win here for you tonight, and thank you so much for coming on here post-race.
Yep, thank you all.
User was
That
moved
was Don
out of
Laprade, your
channel.
winner here tonight of the Buc-ee's 125, driver of the Laprade Industries. Number 74, Chester's Family Market, Chevrolet Monte Carlo, your winner here tonight. And Caleb, we're going to be getting used to seeing that 74 Monte Carlo in this victory lane here over these next couple of weeks. And it is just a great drive. Like I said, we've been so used to seeing that 74 car in victory lane. And that may have topped the Las Vegas comeback of just absolutely going balls to the wall for a performance here tonight.
Absolutely. Like I said, that was probably one of the best comebacks I think I've honestly ever seen, especially here for NR Online. Like I said, about 9 seconds of 15 laps. Absolutely insane. That was an absolutely beautiful performance. But overall, just a fantastic race to start out the 2026 Sportsman Series. I think we're definitely in for another fun season of competition. We're just getting started here tonight. That was just the first race of the season. Definitely think we got a lot more excitement in store, but definitely a fun way to start out the season. Some great groundwork and storylines to build off of, and cannot wait to see how the rest of the season will play out.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fantastic. And like we said, it's going to be one hell of a thrill ride for these final 11 races of the season. And again, going over a lot of those tracks again. We're only broadcasting 6 races on the slate here in Season 4. We might add a 7th. I really want to broadcast that race in Nazareth as somebody who may or may not have snuck onto the property a couple of different times. It's like an hour away from my house, and that track, that facility is beautiful. I wish I could have seen it in its heyday, and being able to explore that area and being able to race it on my side of things over on the Mission Barbecue Cup Series offline. Nazareth always puts on a great show. We saw a great show at Pikes Peak last season for Fuel Grand National. And so many fantastic tracks. One of them being the Alley Raceway, which is going to be coming up next week. Like Apollo was talking about, it is Martinsville, but with a giant 90-degree right-handed corner right in the middle of the back straightaway. That's going to be a blast. Talladega is going to be a blast. Watkins Glen's going to be a blast. And all of these races are going to be a blast here in season number 4 of the Fuel Sportsman Series. But top down, going through the lineup here once again. Don Laprade gets the job done here. Leads 29 of the 82 laps here of the Buc-ee's 125. He is your opening winner here of these season 4. Apollo Hyde finished in second, 4/10 of a second off the back end of the 74. Vincenzo Focusata rounded out your podium. Nicky Conti finished in 4th. RJ Bishop finished in 5th. Ike Durbin finished in 6th. Emmy Schizzato was 7th. Blake Warren finished in 8th. Kenny Compost rounded out the top 9, and Rich Roy rounded out the top 10. Rafaela Sorensen was 11th. Connor Edwards was in 12th, the last car out on track 4 laps down. Grant Warren was 13th, and Jason Stereo was 14th. Those two in the garage area, the only 2 retirees to round out the 14-car field here tonight at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. But that's going to wrap things up here from Hotlanta, Georgia. Congratulations once again to Don Laprade for winning the Buc-ee's 125 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Of course, we've got things rolling off here Wednesday night from the Rockingham Speedway with the Fuel Grand National kicking back off here. Caleb and I will be back on the horn Wednesday night on April Fool's night here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Coverage from the Sand Hills in North Carolina, airing at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the NASRN. And next Friday night on April 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern, it's race number 2 of the Fuel Sportsman Series slate from the Alley Raceway here on the NASRN, your home for the Fuel Racing League. But on behalf of Tyler Stallhood, Apollo Hyde, Ike Durbin, everybody at the Fuel Racing League, and of course for the Colonel Caleb Rose, my name is Trey Wright saying so long from Hampton, Georgia. This has been a production of the North American Sim Racing Network, your home for the entire Fuel Racing League here on the NASRN. Have a good night, folks.